In a narcissist's crazy delusional head, they know it all. There's nothing hidden from them. There is no question they cannot answer. They dip their toes in everything. They will jump in to talk about the subject they hardly know anything about, but they will debate and they'll go on and give you justifications that are purely nonsensical. That make no sense, but to them, it makes sense. They are jack of all trades but master of none, because there are some things they can never answer. There are some things hidden from them, and that is what we are going to talk about in today's episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In today's episode, we are going to talk about 5 questions a narcissist cannot answer no matter what. If that sounds interesting to you, please make sure to subscribe before we begin, because as I always say and request, your subscription to the channel helps in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. Here is an important announcement before we get started with number 1. I am doing an online 3-hour workshop on how to break a trauma bond with a narcissist in 5 practical steps. It's happening on 2nd and 9th March. The booking is open. I only do it twice a year. So you can book your spot right now by clicking the I button above or by finding the link in the description of this video. Number 1. Why do you act so nicely in front of strangers? A narcissist puts on a mask, you know that. They put up a front. A facade is activated whenever they are interacting with somebody who is a possible target for their narcissistic supply. So if you were to ask them, why do you do this? Why do you act differently? They won't have an answer. They won't tell you the truth, because the truth is, well, I can fool them. I can manipulate them into thinking that I'm the nicest person they have ever met, which means they can adore me, they can admire me, they can see me differently than who I am, because I don't like my own reality. You get to see my real side because I know you're trapped, you won't leave me easily, or I have kept you under my thumb, you're under my control, so I will show you my nice side, not so nice side, but to them I have to be this person. Number 2, and this question is a little tricky. If you hate me so much, why don't you leave me? Why don't you let me go? Now, a narcissist can also ask you this question. I'll talk about that in a minute. When you ask this question to a narcissist, you will never get a genuine answer, because a narcissist will not tell you that, yes, I do have a love-hate situation going on with you. I hate you. I hate your guts, but I cannot leave you. Not that I really care for you or I'll miss you and I deeply, deeply want you to be in my life. No, I can't let you go because I can't live without you. I depend more on you than how much you depend on me. So that is the real answer. This question can never ever be answered by a narcissist, because that would require them to be vulnerable. That would require them to confess their crimes and tell you who they are. Now, if a narcissist happens to ask you this question, their intention is completely different. They're asking you this question to guilt trip you, to make you feel bad and sad, to make it seem like you are causing them a lot of harm and you're a miserable, pathetic human being, and that the fault is yours, that you have the free will to make a choice and to decide, but you're not deciding to leave, and that means it's your mistake. Whatever is happening is okay because they have not closed the doors for you. It doesn't make any sense, but it's abdicating responsibility. It's all about pushing it away. It's all about not acknowledging the fact that they have traumatized you to your core and you're trauma bonded inside out, left, right, and center, and you cannot leave them that easily. But when a narcissist asks you a question like that, know that it's nothing but invalidation of your pain. Number 3. Do you genuinely believe your opinions are facts and they supersede others? A narcissist cannot authentically answer this question, because on a surface level, if you were to ask them this, they'll say, oh yeah, of course, I believe my opinions are the facts. It is the reality. But deep down, if they were to be even 1% honest with themselves, they will tell you that they know they're making stuff up. They're crazily creating narratives in their head and then delusionally believing their own self-talk. Essentially, They gaslight themselves first before gaslighting somebody else, before gaslighting you. So they won't tell you the truth, which means they cannot answer this question. They'll first convince themselves by continuously lying and lying and lying. And once they're convinced about something, they will fight for it extremely well. That is where that strength comes from. People ask, oh, don't they know they are lying? I mean, how come they seem so convinced? They do that internal work. For example, if they cheat on you, they'll justify it by saying, oh, you abandoned me, when that is not what happened. And the truth is, you did everything in your capacity to keep them happy, but nothing was enough. However, for a narcissist, what they say becomes their truth. So that is what they will always choose, no matter what the evidence shows. Number 4, why are you so threatened by my differences? Differences are appreciated in any healthy relationship because they lead to compromise. Compromise happens only when you understand each other. So differences bring you closer. You do not need to like the same things to be the same person as your partner. No, that doesn't lead to growth. That becomes boring at a point. If there are certain differences in choices, not major differences, but they like something, you like something else, you think differently, your perspective is different, your knowledge and understanding is entirely different than what they have collected for years. That brings in a lot of excitement because there is so much to explore, to learn about each other. In a narcissistic relationship, that is the biggest sin though. You cannot be different than them. You cannot think differently than them or believe anything else. Why, you ask? Because you are supposed to be a minion. You have to clothe the way they want you to clothe. You have to eat what they want you to eat. You have to breathe the way they want you to breathe. I'm giving you this smaller example just to help you understand that you are nothing but an extension to a narcissist. A product they created, they bought. You're a trophy that has to always glitter the way they want you to glitter. You have to be nothing but a puppet. You have to be a doll, an object, a piece of furniture. You have to always be in the position the way they set you. You have to move when they fill in the key. You have to dance when they pull the strings. This is what your life is all about in their head. So how come you think for yourself? How come you have an identity now? How dare you ask questions? Number 5, and the most revealing one. What are some of your biggest hurts and pains? Everybody has some. It's impossible for a person to grow without any traumas, without anything to think about and say, oh, that still hurts, or that hurt me in the past, and so on, but I have moved on. However, if you were to ask this question to a narcissist, they'll say, oh, there's nothing. I'm above that. I'm omnipotent. I'm extremely powerful, godlike being. Nothing can ever hurt me. Come on, what are you talking about? Oh, but you experienced abuse. Your parents tortured you physically, mentally, or in other ways. What about that? Oh, there was nothing. I have just moved on from that. It never impacted me. I was always different. I was always better than that. And they were not bad. I understand why they did it. So yeah, there's nothing to talk about there. It puts happy overall. When in reality, narcissists are nothing but damaged products of destructive parenting. They will never acknowledge that their childhood was the problem, because then they will have to take responsibility for their current actions and say, oh, I see that thing that was not some sort of criticism, I got triggered because I'm insecure. They'll have to say I'm weak, that I need some work. They will never acknowledge it. The whole narrative of I am best, I am the sane one, you're the crazy one, will be shattered. On what basis will they argue then, if the origin of the problem becomes clear, which is them? So they will never ever be able to answer this question. Oh, at the same time, it's very important to acknowledge that there are some narcissists who do talk about their childhood trauma and say, oh yeah, this happened and that happened. And those type of narcissists tend to weaponize it. Those types of narcissists are typically covert in presentation or vulnerable in their nature. They like to be seen as the eternal victim. the ultimate martyr, the one who has sacrificed it all. They want everybody to cry for them, but take 0 steps to better their situation. They don't do anything about it. They're not interested in it. If you push them to take some steps, like go to therapy individually, or acknowledge that, yes, this is my trauma pattern, this is the list of all the sabotaging behaviors and all that, they won't ever do that. They'll blame you for abusing them. They'll blame you for pushing them. They will blame you for being controlling. And you know how the story goes. So don't confuse yourself. If you are with someone or have been with someone who has talked about their trauma and psychobabbles a lot, it's nothing but yet another tactic to abuse people. So that was the last question, the 5th one. Let me know which one of these do you personally think a narcissist won't be able to answer at all. Drop your answers in the comments below. And with that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I look forward to talking to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.